Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Radha Vino Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. And today, special day, the appearance day of Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai, and the disappearance day of Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Dandavat Pranam. Shram is probably still too soft. Not ready. So we will begin, as usual, with Mangalacharan. No, it's ready. The auspicious invocation. Praying for the grace, the mercy, the presence of our Gurudev and all of our Guru Varga. Going all the way up to Shri Radha and Krishna. It is page 1 in this book, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Did he now? Let's see. The weather has changed today in Vrindavan. It's beautiful, sunny, warm with a gentle cool breeze, and fresh. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Dāmodara Shri Guru Vaishnavāścha Shri Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahamana Raghunathanvitam Kamsajeevam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahamana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Om Ajnanatimidandhavasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇiti Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Kaudarya Madhurya Gunascha Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Nārāyaṇam Kvaṁ Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padācchitaika Hridde Chaitanya Leela Amrita Sarasaram Nārāyaṇam Kvaṁ Satakam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् भक्तिप्रज्ञान केशवोऽयतिनामिने अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानंशपालिने जीवदुःखे सदरताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाभये कृष्ण सम्बन्ध विज्ञान दयिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदान श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगनिरुद्धापो सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदाम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगम्बरायते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्तो राधाकान्तो नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दं मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोजं राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदं श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवं प्रेष्ठालिधि सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भे वंशीवत्ततस्थितः कर्षन्मेनुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavanninirvapanam Shreya kairava chatrika vitarnam vidyavadhujivanam Anandam budivardhanam pratipadam purnamritashvadanam Sarvatma sapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nam Harer Nam Harer Nameva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas. Ram Prasad, I've been wondering how you are. Radhika Ahuja, just like Thakurji's. Yeah, we just like them a lot. Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas, Sudevi, Janardan. I know, huh, Sudevi? Mamata, Jiva Pavana Prabhu Ki Jai. Okay. Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru, page 29. And I think that one is in Rag Yaman. And it is by Vaishnava Das. Jayo Jayo Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Adbhuto Jako Adbhuto Jako Parokas Iya Yogeya Timiro Borogya Iya Yogeya Jachideyano Harinam Jachideyano Harinam Duramati Agati Sotatoya Sate Mati Duramati Agati Sotatoya Sate Mati Nahi Sukriti Krishna Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Śrī Guru Parampara ki jai. Thakura Vaishnava Gana Kori E Nivedana by Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur, page 43. Thakura Vaishnava Gana. And if you do not have a songbook, then Jiva Pavana Prabhu very kindly posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and there you will find the bhajans along with their translations and frequently followed by beautiful commentaries from our acharyas. If you don't roll up your sleeves while playing mridanga, because of the repetitive hitting, your sleeves get chewed up or marked up. So, let's see. One of Janardhan's favorite pictures of Gurudev. It's not popping up. Ooh. Very quickly, Rudra Gupta Prabhu. Difference between Ragatmik, Raganuga and Rupanuga Bhakti. What should we be following according to Srila Gurudev? Please explain. So this is a topic that we have delved into quite deeply, quite often actually. And it needs to be repeated again and again for our own benefit. So, what is Ragatmik? What is Raganuga and what is Rupanuga? Ragatmika means those persons who are already perfectly established in their transcendental relationship with Krishna, full of rag, deep loving attachment and attraction. So these are personalities like Mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba, or Krishna's friends Śrī Dām, Sudam, Dām, Vasudam, Madhumangal, or the gopis of Vrindavan, headed by Srimati Radhika, Lalita Vishaka Chitra Champakalata, Induleka Rangadevi Sudevi, so many. Also, Chandravali and all of the other gopis. So all of the Brajabasis are essentially eternal associates of Krishna, and they are full of rag. Therefore, they are rag atmik, means their nature is made of divine transcendental love. Those who follow in the wake of the moods, means under the guidance and following particularly any one of those kinds of Brajabasis, that would be known as Rag Anuga. Anuga means Anugatya, to be a follower of. So whoever is a follower of any of the Ragatmik Jan, the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan, they would be known as Raganuga, a follower of. So, yes. But there is a specific section within Raganuga Bhakti, and that is known as Rupanuga. Sri Rupa Manjari is also Ragatmika. Those who are following in the mood or in the guidance of Rupa Manjari and Rupa Gosvāmī here in this world, under that guidance, with that mood, with a spontaneous mood of loving affection awakening in their heart toward Krishna, not only out of duty or out of fear or out of any other reason, rather than spontaneous loving emotion, who are following specifically the line of thought and the methodology of the sadhana of Rupa Gosvāmī in sadhaka bhav, in the mood of a devotee, and Sri Rupa Manjari in the transcendental realm in relationship with Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, they would be known as Rupanuga. So specifically, what should we be following according to Srila Gurudev? According to our Srila Gurudev and according to all of those who are followers of Rupa Goswami, we should be following Rupanuga Bhajan. Means following, being a servant of the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. Rupanuga, Das, Das, Anudas. So within the greater conception of the idea of following any of the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan, there's a specific section known as maidservants of Srimati Radhika, and that they are headed by Sri Rupa Manjari, who is in the group of Lalita Sakhi. And Sri Rupa Manjari's followers, means all of our particular Guru Varga, Narottam Das Thakur, Krishna Das Kaviraj, Jiva Goswami, all of our Goswamis, except for Sanatana Gosvāmī, but all of our Goswamis, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and then you have Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, all of his disciples, and then their disciples, our Srila Gurudev, etc. They are all Rupanuga. And those who are following after them, we can call ourselves aspiring Rupanugas, because maybe we're not to that platform of spontaneity yet, but we should have a hope for that to manifest. So that is Rupanuga Bhakti, and that is what our Guru Varga wanted to awaken within us, Shri Rupanuga Bhakti Da. To give that, all of our Guru Varga have come to give that. That means really to awaken that mood of spontaneous loving affection toward Radha and Krishna, which is like that of Shri Rupa, which means Palya Dasi Bhav, to be a maidservant of Shri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, but specifically leaning toward Srimati Radhika. And there's a special tendency among those personalities that have that mood, that they don't like to see that Radhika is weeping and pining after Krishna, but rather Krishna should weep and run after Srimati Radhika. So there's so many different nuances within that. But specifically, yes, that is the goal of those who are Gaudiya Vaishnavas following in the line of Rupa Goswami. They are known as Rupanuga, and specifically those who are following the path of spontaneous bhakti under that guidance, with that kind of mood and that kind of aspiration, they will be known as Rupanuga. I hope I was able to. So Rupanuga leads to Raganuga, and Rupanuga finally leads to Ragatmik. And Raganuga finally leads to Ragatmik. No. Rupanuga is Raganuga, but a very specific kind of Raganuga. Within the greater category of Rag, Rupanuga is one of them. If someone was following the mood of Mother Yashoda, then it wouldn't be Rupanuga, it would be Yashodanuga. So it is, Rupanuga is Raganuga, but specifically focused on taking shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari. This is Rupanuga. So Rupanuga and Raganuga. Raganuga might be a more general idea, you can say, and Rupanuga is the more refined idea. But in order to actually have real Raganuga Bhakti, you have to select, in essence, one particular personality and follow their mood of bhajan here and there. Seva sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena, cha atra hi. In this world, doing the sadhana that is necessary within the sadhak form, and internally, within your internally conceived spiritual form, siddha rupena, also worshipping as they worship. Yes, those who are following Rupa Goswami, who are Rupanuga, will finally attain to that position where they will be considered. No one will look at them any differently, because you are born into Braj at the time of Krishna's pastimes in any earthly plane, Bhoma Vrindavan, and in essence naturalized into Krishna's pastimes. So then you would be considered Ragatmika, and you would still be under the guidance of Sri Rupa, but you would be Ragatmik at that point. That's how you would be seen. No one's going to be like, oh my God, look at that one. They were in the material world for the blink of an eye. Because from the timeline of eternity, it would be like that. No one's going to be judging you, oh, look at them, sadhan siddha, kripa siddhas, or anything like that. You will be, in essence, naturalized into the pastimes, and when Krishna winds up his pastimes, then you will be there with Krishna. This has been explained by our Gurudev, this has been explained by Srila Prabhupada in his commentaries in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and by many of our acharyas. I hope that has clarified. So now we will sing Thakur Vaishnava Pada. Our Srila Gurudev put a lot of effort into making us understand and grasp these principles. What is the difference between Raganuga and Rupanuga? What is the process that we are endeavoring to follow? And that we shouldn't just make up any new Anuga names. You know, like now I'm a Gurudev Anuga. In one sense you can say so, but this is not the right thing to do, to create something like that. All of those in the line of Rupa Goswami are known as Rupa Anugas. So he wanted us to understand these particular differences. And it took some time, but when he explained it again and again, then it became easier to conceive, at least theoretically. Thakur Vaishnava Gana Koriye Nivedana Thakur Vaishnava Gana Koriye Nivedana Mogaro Yadhama Daruno sangsaro nidhi Taheru gairo vidhi Daruno sangsaro nidhi Taheru gairo vidhi Keshe dhori more karo Keshe dhori more karo Vidhi baro balovan Na shune dharam gyan Vidhi Na shune dharam gyan Sodai karam pashe bandhe Sodai karam pashe bandhe Na dekhita Jato dekhi sab klesho Na dekhita rono lesho Jato dekhi sab klesho Onato ka torete kande Onato Kande কাতরে তেই কান্দে অনাথ কাতরে তেই কান্দে কাম ক্রোধ লোভ মোহ মদয় অভিমান সহ কাম ক্রোধ লোভ মোহ মদয় অভিমান সহ আপন আপন স্থানে কানে আপন আপন স্থানে তানে ঐছন আমারো মন ফিরে যেন অন্ধজন ঐছন আমারো মন ফিরে যেন অন্ধজন সুপথ বিপথ নাহি জানে সুপথ বিপথ নাহি জানে নালোইনু সত্যমত অসতে মাজিল চিত্ত নালোইনু সত্যমত অসতে মাজিল চিত্ত তুয়া পায়ে না করিনু আশ তুয়া পায়ে না করিনু আশ নরোত্তম দাসে কই দেখি শুনি রাগে ভয় নরোত্তম দাসে কই দেখি শুনি রাগে ভয় তোরাইয়া লোহ নিজ পাশ তোরাইয়া লোহ নিজ পাশ তারাইয়া লোহ নিজ পাশ তারাইয়া লোহ নিজ পাশ ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব গণ করি এ নিবেদন ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব গণ করি এ নিবেদন ও বরয় ধমদুরাচার ও বরয় ধমদুরাচার এসে ধরি মোরে করো এসে ধরি মোরে করো বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর প্রভু কৃপা করো মোরে দয়া করো প্রভু কৃপা করো মোরে দয়া Vaishnava Ki Jai. Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas. I think I saw there Nandini, Radhe Radhe, Shachi, Amy Martin, Radhe Radhe, Tatiana, Taruni. No, I'm just saying all this. I'm just saying the names. Shyamapriya, Dandava Pranam, Radhe Radhe. And there's lots of flowers and hearts. It's hard not to notice the colors pop up. I know those are for Thakurji, of course. Because look at them. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Astonishing. Now we will sing Śrī Satyavrata Gosvāmī Ashtakam by Śrī Srinivas Acharya. Today we are observing the appearance celebration of Śrīla Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī. But also, we will be calling out to all of our Goswamis, including Rup Sanatan, both of the Raghunaths and Jiva Goswami, and of course Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī with that particular Śrī Satyavrata Gosvāmī Ashtakam. I'm not going to sing the tune that they sing at Radha Damodar, but well, I'm going to just let you know what it sounds like a little bit. Krishna Kirtana Dana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhi Hira Dhira Jana Priyo Priya Karo Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharo Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. That's how they sing it there at Radha Damodar Temple. But we're going to sing, as our Guru Dev would call, the pathetic tunes. One time we were in Varshana with our Srila Guru Dev, back in the early days, I think before 2000, when they still had a pandal out in front of Modi Bhavan. And he was asking for Śrī Gosvāmī Ashtakam, and he wanted the pathetic tune, meaning evoking the mood of pathos, the heartbreaking moods that our Srila Prabhupada would sing. And devotees were trying to give Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro. Gurudev like, yes, maybe. But then, this is the one I believe he wanted. He Radhe Vrajadevike Chalalite He Nanda Shuno Kutaho Shri Govardhana Kalpapada Patale Kalindi Vanye Kutaho Goshanta Viti Sarvato Vrajapure Khedar Mahavivalo Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. I don't know how to sing the whole thing like that either. Only that one I remember from Prabhupada. He's so amazing. When you hear him sing, not only are his tunes, his rags, his tuning, everything amazing, but the most important and most amazing part is how his full heart is in it. Srila Gurudev said, you have not seen, you should have seen how he would weep while he would sing Śrī Satyavrata Gosvāmī Ashtakam. How he would weep while singing Śrī Rupa Manjari Pada. How heartbreaking that is. How Prabhupada would weep and cry while he was singing these bhajans. He was calling out to these divine personalities. So here, today we are observing the appearance day of Śrī Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī and the disappearance day of Śrī Ramachandra Kaviraj. So later on we will sing Jai Anilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur, but now we're going to sing Śrī Satyavrata Gosvāmī Ashtakam, starting with Krishnod Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritam Bho Nidhe And I'm finding the page number from you. Thank you. That is page 264. Jiva Pavana Prabhu has already posted it. You know, if I'm ever feeling, or both Sudevi and myself, if we're ever feeling a little bit maybe spiritually dull, it can happen. You know, this is called Taranga Rangini, riding the waves, sometimes feeling inspired, sometimes feeling a little bit down. But if we put Srila Prabhupada on, playing, he has such a gravity. Even once there was a kid, he was screaming and throwing a tantrum in one of the houses we were staying in. And you know who it is, because we played Srila Prabhupada quite loud. And I think it might have been Chaito Darpana Marjanam in Bhairavrag, the very deep one. Anyhow, immediately, everyone in the house, Prabhupada's mood is so grave, so deep, so full and so heavy. And he intentionally recorded those bhajans because of his intent. Whatever the pure devotee intends, Krishna must fulfill. So generally they say that, well, through any medium like a cassette or any recorded information, you can't get something. But if the pure devotee has intended for that to happen, Krishna himself is waiting to serve his pure devotees. Because they have offered their everything to Krishna, he's also trying to reciprocate with them. And if their intent is through any medium to somehow transmit some kind of mood, even if it's just to awaken any mood of devotion in the heart, then Krishna will be waiting to fulfill that desire of theirs. Because their desire is only how to serve Krishna. And since Krishna can easily make the impossible possible, there is nothing that cannot be done by Krishna, then through the medium of that sound vibration, some effect can be there, and we have seen it. Even if it might be only considered sentimental, still the effect is there. And he puts so much energy into those recordings, and when you hear them, how does it affect the heart? Everything else kind of takes a back burner, and you're like, he settles your heart, and somehow a mood of devotion begins to crack out of this hard heart. Something happens. So by hearing him, we're inspired to move forward, to give more, to go deeply, more deeply. So, I recommend you listen to Srila Prabhupada, especially those bhajans like Anadi Karma Phale. You can hear his voice cracking when he's singing that Eheno Samaya Bandhu Tumi Krishna Kripa Sindhu. At this time, I see that there is nothing else, no one else. You are my only friend. And you hear his voice cracking, and you can hear his heart breaking. And as he is calling out, you can feel that mood of surrender and that inspired. Just thinking about it, it is shaking me. And that one Hari Haraye, you know which one I'm talking about? Hari Hari Haraye Namo Krishna. Very slow one. Yadavayo Namo Yadavayo Madhavayo Keshavayo Namo. And he comes to Tadera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas, serving the feet of these 6 Goswamis and residing in their association. Janame Janame Hoy E Abhilash. This is my only desire, birth after birth. And then how he's singing Śrī Satyavrata Gosvāmī Ashtakam. Amazing. So this is long. We will sing it together. That means all of you will sing with me. Krishna Kirtana Gano Nartana Paru Premamritam Bonidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priya Priya Karo Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripa Haro Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantaro Vande Rupa Sanatana Prabhu Shri Jiva Gopala Nana Shastra Vicharo Naika Nipuno Sadharma Samsthapaho Lokanam Hittakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nande Namatanito Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghugo Shri Jiva Gopala Shri Gauranga Gunanuvarnana Vidho Shraddha Samridhyandito Papotapani Krintano Tanuvritam Govinda Ganamrita Anandam Buddhivardhanaika Nipuno Kaivalya Nistaroko Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghugo Shri Jiva Gopala Yakvaturnam Sheshamandalapati Shrenim Sadatu Chavat Budvadina Ganesha Karunaya Gopina Kantha Shrito Gopi Bhavara Samrita Bhilahari Karyola Magno Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghugo Shri Jiva Gopala Puja Kokila Hamsa Sarasagana Tirne Mayura Kule Nanarotra Nibadhamula Vitapa Shri Yukta Vrindavane Radha Krishna Mahārnisham Prabhajato Jivartha Duyo Munda kalavasani trito nidraharu viharu kadi vijito chatyanta dino chayo Radha Krishna Smriter Madhurima Nandena Sammohito Mande Rupa Sanatana Gosvāmī Śrī Jiva Gopala Radha Kalindatanaya Tine Chavam Shivate Premam Madhavashana Shesha Dashaya Grasto Pramato Sada Gayanto Chakada Braj Śrī Satyavrata Gosvāmī Prabhu ki jai, Śrī Rupa Gosvāmī ki jai, Śrī Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī ki jai. This particular ashtakam was written by or manifested from the heart of Srinivas Acharya. And Srinivas Acharya was a disciple of Śrīla Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī. I don't know how many disciples Śrīla Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī had, but Śrīla Srinivas Acharya is definitely prominent. He was one of those three personalities who spread Gaudiya Vaishnavism throughout India. Three personalities went: Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Shyamananda. And when they arrived in the kingdom of, Birhambir, King Birhambir, all of their books, the books of the Goswamis that they were transporting to Navadvip, were stolen. And so Srinivas stayed in that area to try to find the books. He didn't know who stole them. Narottam went north looking, and Shyamananda went south. So Sri Shyamananda spread Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Rupanuga Vaishnavism throughout all Orissa. Narottam Das Thakur spread it throughout all of Bangladesh and Manipur. The entire kingdom of Manipur, starting with the king, became Gaudiya Vaishnava. To this day, they wear Vaishnava tilak and chant Gaudiya Vaishnava bhajans, especially those of Narottam Das Thakur, Jayadev Goswami, etc. And so Srinivasa Acharya stayed in that area and spread Gaudiya Vaishnavism everywhere and converted that king as well, who did steal the books and returned them afterward. He converted that king to Vaishnavism and that whole area. So by their grace, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Rupanuga Vaishnavism spread far and wide. They made thousands of disciples and they were qualified to do so. So this Srinivasa Acharya, who is the disciple of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he was ordered by Srila Jiva Goswami to take initiation from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. He has written or composed this Śrī Satyavrata Gosvāmī from his heart. And I feel it is essential that we read the meaning of this, because how can one understand about any personality? Through the serving mood of their best disciple. So this is Srinivasa Acharya's vision of his Gurudev or his Gurudevs, the 6 Goswamis. Perpetually immersed in singing, dancing and heartfelt kirtan of the name, form, qualities, pastimes, associates and realm of Sri Krishna. The 6 Goswamis, that is Rup Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunatha, Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta and Das Raghunatha. The 6 Goswamis embody the ocean of nectarian love. Just in case you want to know what is the definition of a true Goswami, when you hear this, then you will understand. This means our Rupanuga Guru Varga. They're all of this nature, so they're all true Goswamis. Who can control their senses? Those persons who are completely 100% saturated in divine love for Sri Radha and Krishna without any attraction to anything of this material world whatsoever. Dear to both gentlemen and ruffians. Dhira dhira janapriyo priyakaro. Because they have no envy, they are dear to both gentlemen and ruffians. Means everyone liked them, everyone appreciated them, because their nature was always devoted to Krishna. If one waters the root of the tree, then automatically every part of that tree is nourished and satisfied. In the same way, because they were exclusively devoted to Shri Radha Krishna and Sachinandan Gaura Hari, then whoever came in their vicinity felt affection for them and respect. Dhira dhira janapriyo priyakaro, nirmatsaro pujito. And they are completely free from matsar, which means envy. This is a symptom of the highest level Vaishnava. Rupa Goswami writes about in the 5th verse of Upadeshamrita, Shushrushaya bhajana vigyamananyamandya ninda adi shunyam. They are without or devoid of the tendency to criticize others. Nindadi. This is also nirmatsar, without any envy. One should surrender to such a personality. They're always engaged in pleasing activities and completely free from envy. They are adored by all. They are the recipients of Sri Chaitanya's immense mercy, and they therefore remove the burden of the earth through the distribution of bhakti rasa. I worship the 6 Goswamis, Sri Rup Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Sri Jiva and Sri Gopal Bhatta. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent them to Vrindavan, all of them, and gave them mercy and blessings to not only uncover or rediscover the holy places of Vrindavan. How are they able to do such a thing? They must have divine vision, which means they must have already attained divinity. They were divine personalities who were able to see the divine pastime places of Krishna and uncover and rediscover them. And therefore they also have the qualification, because they are able to see Krishna's pastimes, to manifest those pastimes in the form of literatures. So Rup, Sanatan, Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, all of them were able to also manifest transcendental literatures by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and by their own divine vision of the pastimes of Krishna. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno. They are uniquely expert in ascertaining the essence of all revealed scriptures. How? What is that? Nyam Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata. There it is said, Mirakira Hangsana Pana Vidayana. Just as a swan can separate milk from water, Rupa Goswami and the other Goswamis were able to separate the pure thing from anything which may have been mixed. In the Vedas and in so many scriptures, there are so many different kinds of things which are told for different levels of persons. So many different kinds of instructions. You can find almost anything regarding anything. There are scriptures for those in the mode of ignorance, for those in the mode of passion, for those in the mode of goodness, and for those who want to devote their heart completely in love and affection to the Lord. And also within different aspects of the kingdom of God, so to speak, so many different kinds of devotion are mentioned. Because there's so much. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, it's very, very difficult to navigate that ocean. It is also full of so many sharks and crocodiles and dangerous whirlpools and everything else. Coral reefs. So then, you require help. Who helps us? Our 6 Goswamis. Srila Gurudev said, be careful. If you're reading on your own, he said there are so many things which are told as juicy gossip, which may or may not be fully true. But to attract your attention, they're told. But what our Goswamis have given, what they have extracted, the essence of the essence. Like ghee from milk. You cannot see ghee in milk, but it is saturated within every particle of milk. And if you know the process, you can extract it. How does one extract ghee from milk? Well, traditionally in Vrindavan, you would boil the milk. Then when you let it cool, technically it has to cool enough, then you add the yogurt culture, dahi. Then you turn that milk into yogurt. Then in the morning, you put your churning rod in the yogurt. And with your eyes closed, remembering the sweet pastimes of Krishna, you'll be churning that yogurt, singing Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. And I'm hitting the microphone. And then, what will happen? There will be a separation between the butter and what is left over, which is known as chach, or they say matta, something like that. It's the buttermilk. What is left over after the butter separates. The butter floats, you take that out, and then you have to wash it. And then from that, you cook that down, very gently, very slowly. And then these solids separate from the liquid. What you have left is pure ghee. From so many gallons of milk, you might only get this much ghee. But that is the essence of the essence of the essence. And our Goswamis were expert in diving into the ocean of the Vedic literatures and bringing out the essence. Like a swan can separate the milk from water. Who can do that? A swan can. But if we're not a swan, maybe we can't do that. But our Goswamis are all Paramhamsa, topmost swan-like personalities. They're able to extract that. So Gurudev said, what our Goswamis have given, you can trust 100%. Quote unquote. So they are uniquely expert in ascertaining the essence of all revealed scriptures, and they establish the supreme occupation of the soul, Bhagavad Bhakti. They are the true benefactors of the people, worshipful for the 3 worlds, and affectionate to those who have taken shelter of them. Due to the bliss of bhajan, here it says, Bhajananandena Maktaliko, always absorbed in all of the aspects of bhakti for the purpose of giving pleasure to Radha and Krishna, and from that they are always experiencing transcendental bliss. Bhajananandena mataliko. Due to the bliss of bhajan of the lotus feet of Shri Radha and Krishna, they have become like intoxicated honeybees. I worship Śrī Sanātana, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Jiva and Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmīs. Shri Gauranga Gunanavarnana Vidho. They are enriched with deep faith in the process of describing the various qualities of Shri Gauranga. They nullify the great distress generated from the simple activities of embodied beings by showering on them nectarian songs about Govinda. This line is very similar to the first verse of Śrī Satyavrata Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahādavagni Nirvapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. By telling the glories of Krishna or Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, what happens? Bhava Mahādavagni Nirvapanam. The entire ocean of the blazing fire of material existence, that is extinguished, nirvapanam. And here it is saying that they nullify the great distress generated from the simple activities of embodied beings by showering on them nectarian song about Govinda. They are especially expert in expanding the ocean of bliss, and they rescue all from impersonalism by imparting the secrets of bhakti. They rescue all from impersonalism. How do you pull someone out of that impersonalistic mindset? By giving them a higher taste. Something in terms of relationship with the divine personality. Then that impersonalist thing might be then considered not so attractive anymore. Because really it is not within the nature of the soul. Not truly. The soul's nature is to serve. Nitya Krishna Das. And this impersonal idea, it's just cessation from suffering. But it is not really positive activity. So how do you rescue someone from that? Even the greatest Brahmagyanis that we have heard of, the four Kumaras and Shukadeva Gosvāmī. How was Shukadeva Gosvāmī rescued from this Brahmagyani Bhad? Hearing the sweet pastimes of Krishna from his Gurudev Vedvyas. This attracted his ears. It attracted his heart. And then he became the most amazing personalist. The four Kumaras, how were they attracted? They were also impersonalists, but they went to the gates of Vaikuntha, and from a distance, simply smelling the fragrance of the tulsi leaves which had been offered to the feet of the Lord, that fragrance entered into their nostrils, and immediately their hearts awakened with the desire to want to serve Krishna. This mood of personalism manifested. Also Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he also was like that, impersonalist. And he was there, giving an impersonal commentary on Vedanta to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 7 days. Finally, he looks at Mahaprabhu and says, "You haven't said anything for 7 days and 7 nights. Is there anything you want to say?" The moment he treated Mahaprabhu as a person, Mahaprabhu responded as a person, and then began to completely demolish all of his misconceptions to such a degree that Sarvabhauma realized this can be none other than the master of my goddess Saraswati, the goddess of learning. He is the Supreme Lord. And then Mahaprabhu manifested the six-armed form known as Shadbhuj. So by the process of Bhakti Yoga, by the process of hearing the sweet pastimes of Krishna, one can be pulled from that. And Gopkumar also. He was within Brahma Jyoti. He had attained that liberation. But because of the resonance of the mantra that he had with him, his Gopal mantra which he received from his Gurudev, which I cannot tell you, you must hear in your ear directly from Sri Guru. But it has the word in there, Gopi Jana Balabhaya. By the presence of that mantra resounding within him, within his Atma, because it is the mantra of relationship. Somehow by that mantra, although he was already merged into in essence, not fully merged, but feeling or the idea of being merged. You wouldn't even be able to distinguish yourself from anything else. But because of the resonance of that mantra within him, it is said he was able to detect a dim glow or an outline of the toe of Vishnu, which acted like a fish hook and pulled him out of that place. So some higher taste is required to pull someone away from that. Otherwise, we should be extremely careful. So the 6 Goswamis, they are able to rescue all from impersonalism by imparting the secrets of bhakti. I worship Śrī Sanātana, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Jiva and Gopal Bhatta Goswamis. Tarun is asking, I keep thinking, how is it possible that those Mahajans, the Parikaras of the Lord, could be Brahmagyanis in the first place? So, in the case of Shukadeva Goswami, we know that actually he is Shriya Shuka. And in the scriptures, the Vedas, Puranas, we've heard this katha from Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, from our Gurudev, and from Srila Bhakti Kamal Govinda Maharaj, who heard it from Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Maharaj, who was master at quoting from all kinds of scriptures. And I don't know exactly the name of the scripture, but the pastime is present. That personality, the parrot of Srimati Radhika, her own Shuk parrot, was requested to remain in this world and to help the jivas to connect, to come to them. And that parrot took the form of Shukadev Goswami. Very quickly, Lord Shiva was telling Śrīmad Bhagavatam to his wife. But he was speaking in very, very complicated Tattva Gyan Siddhanta at the time, and she was becoming a little bit tired. So initially she was like, but then she started dozing off. As he was telling it, he was full of all kinds of transcendental bliss, speaking Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and she was saying, but then she dozed off. There was one parrot in the tree, the Shuka, and he was listening with rapt attention. And in her voice, he was saying, After some time, Lord Shiva opened his eyes and saw his wife was asleep. And who was saying, He saw in the tree a green parrot. He thought, this parrot is not qualified to hear this. Therefore, he must be finished. So he began chasing after that parrot with his trident. The parrot was flying and doing what parrots do. They're like fighter jets, if you've ever seen them fly. They can turn on a dime. And he was, and Shiva was chasing him. And at that time, Ved Vyas was speaking to his wife. Śrīmad Bhagavatam. But what section? 10th canto Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Her eyes were wide open. Her mouth was wide open in astonishment, hearing these beautiful, sweet pastimes of Krishna. At that time, Shuk was flying this way and that way, and Shiva was chasing him. And he saw that open mouth and went inside, and he was hiding. Lord Shiva came and said, come out now, come out now. And he wouldn't come out. And Ved Vyas said, why? Why do you want him to come out? Lord Shiva said, I have to kill him. Ved Vyas said, why do you have to kill him? Because he's unqualified. He was listening to Śrīmad Bhagavatam, but he's unqualified. Ved Vyas said, what is the result of hearing Śrīmad Bhagavatam? Lord Shiva said, they become immortal. He said, then how can you kill him? Lord Shiva said, you're right. So he left, and that Shuka stayed inside for 16 years. And Ved Vyas was saying, you can come out, you can come out. And he's like, no, I don't want to be infected by anything, any attraction to the material world. And Vyas promised him, I promise you that nothing of this material world will attract you or distract you. So then immediately, after 16 years, he came out in the form of Shukadeva Goswami. Beautiful 16-year-old youth, naked. Long matted hair, darkish complexion like Krishna. And he began walking immediately toward the forest. Ved Vyas said, oh my son, oh my son. But Ved Vyas had already promised him nothing material of this world would distract him. So my son had no effect on Shukadev whatsoever. Only the trees echoed in response. Srila Gurudev would tell this verse every single day before class. Yang pravrajantam anupetyam apetya krityam dvaipayano virahakar tadyajuhava putreti tanmayataya tarabo binedus tan sarvabhuta hridayam munimanatosmi. This is a glorification of Śrī Shukadev Goswami, spoken by Śrī Sutta Goswami. Only after wandering back into that general vicinity and hearing Vyasadeva speaking the beautiful glories of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, in the 10th canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, did Shukadev become attracted. He never saw Vyas as his father, he only saw Vyas as his Gurudev. Speciality there. Like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. He saw Bhaktivinoda Thakur as his Gurudev. So, in this connection, those personalities, you can say a lot of the personalities that we hear about in Śrīmad Bhagavatam are in essence maybe covered by Yoga Maya to act in a particular role, to teach us. Like Bharat Mahārāja. He had already attained the stage of Rati Bhav. In Vaidhi Bhakti, but yet Rati Bhav. How from that position can one be attracted to or become attached to a deer? Technically it's impossible. But for the purpose of teaching us what we should not do with our energy and time, lest we want to enter into the animal species in our next life, this pastime was revealed to us. So the four Kumars also, the first born sons of Brahma, one can say they are eternal associates of the Lord. In another sense, I don't know if they are, but now they are. I mean, they're there in all the pastimes of the Lord. They are there in Vaikuntha also. So many of these personalities, they are showing something. But even Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, two greatest demons this world has ever known. Any demon that we see these days is nothing, peanuts next to them. Those personalities were covered by Krishna's internal potency, Yoga Maya, because they are transcendental, the eternal associates of Srimad Nārayaṇa, gate guards of Nārayaṇa in Vaikuntha. And yet being covered by Yoga Maya for the purpose of pleasing the Lord, because he wanted to fight. Veer Ras is present within him. He can only fight with someone who's qualified to fight with him. That means his own dear transcendental associates. So they manifested by the power of Yoga Maya with the mindset of terrible demons and inflicted holy hell terror on the entire universe like a fever of meningitis. Bhagavatam says, on the head of the universe, a fever of meningitis on the head of the universe. And then when they fought with the Lord, he was so pleased by that fighting. So, from one perspective, we can say, oh, they're really big demons. And they were. But, actually, they're the eternal associates of the Lord. And for pastime's sake, he has manifested this Leela. But in reality, in fact, no one can ever fall from Vaikuntha, Srila Prabhupada writes. Whoa. So I hope I answered your question okay, Taruni. And very quickly for Rudra Gupta, because we want to speak something more about Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Srinivasa Acharya. What's the difference between Bhagavat and Diksha Parampara? Diksha Parampara means it's a lineage from guru to disciple, and then that one will give Diksha to their disciple, and like that. That is called Diksha Parampara. It is possible that anyone in that line might not be fully realized. Just like I've received Diksha from my Gurudev. That doesn't make me qualified to give Diksha to another. It depends on the depth of one's true realization. Guru is not a cheap thing. Guru is the heaviest thing. So just receiving mantra and giving mantra, this might be done in a straight Diksha Parampara. But Bhagavat Shiksha Parampara is a little bit different than that. That is where the flow of bhakti is taking place. One can transmit a mantra, but who can transmit bhakti? Only one who has that within their heart can awaken that in another. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj says, one should hear Harinam from the living source. Means who has Krishna, they can give Krishna. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite paro tomara shakti ache. Krishna is yours, O Vaishnav Thakur. You can give him. This is within your power. If one has not got Krishna, then what can they give? Theory. But if one has captured Krishna within the core of their heart, then they also have the power to give Krishna. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. So Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj was explaining, and our Guru Parampara explained, that some, they're chanting the mantra, but because they are devoid of that potency, it's like shooting a gun that has no bullet. It just has the gunpowder. So it makes the sound, but it has no potency. Or like a lady who goes to the pregnancy ward in the hospital, but she's not pregnant, and she starts making the sounds of having a baby, all of that breathing and screaming, but she's not pregnant. So is she going to produce a baby? No. So there's one that is giving sound, but who has the potency, they can actually have real effect. So we are not after the blank line. We are looking after where that life is. And that is really the definition of one who can attain real bhakti. Krishna bhakti rasabhavitamati kriyatam yarikatopi labhyate tatra lolyam api mulyam ekalam janma kotishu kritarna labhyate. In the conversation between Rai Ramananda and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is told that the root qualification for Krishna bhakti ras is the intense greedy desire to have it. And the nature of that greed is, if you can get it anywhere, it must be purchased without delay, or begged, or borrowed, or stolen, or anyhow. Somehow, if you have genuine greed, you will strive to attain it at all costs. That is the definition of genuine greed. So, if what we want is Krishna Bhakti Rasa, then we won't just be satisfied by someone who suddenly assumes the role of guru and says, I'm guru. For every 1,000 or maybe more persons who say, I am a guru, there's one real guru. So many kangaroos, seeking after kanaka, kamani, pratishta, accumulation of wealth, all kinds of sense gratification, satisfying all of one's senses with all kinds of wonderful things of this world, and pratishta, name, fame, position, power, adoration, and all of these things. Most persons are in that category. Oh man, I'm having a tough time. I need a little money. Maybe I should make myself into a guru and collect disciples. Oh, those disciples will give me money and will satisfy my desires for worship and things like that. Very easy. There's even books about the guru business and how to get into it. But there is such a thing as a real guru as well. And the real guru is not bound to any social or ecclesiastical institution. The real guru is the manifestation of Krishna responding to one's sincere cry for mercy. Sangsara dava naladidhaloka tranaya karunya ghanaganatvam praptasya kalyana gunan navasya vande guru Shri Charanarvindam. Seeing our immense suffering condition and hearing our ardent prayer for mercy and help, Krishna, whose heart is very soft and who is an ocean of mercy. We say, Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. He is an ocean of mercy. That mercy will, in essence, condense and take a form that is compared to a cloud, heavy with water. And that cloud can go over any forest fire and extinguish that blazing forest fire of suffering of this material world. That cloud is compared to Shri Guru, in essence, the ambassador of Krishna, who is carrying Krishna's mercy directly to us. If one is sincere in crying out, then wherever one is, in any situation, Krishna can send that mercy. And if we block that mercy by saying, nope, only here, and we're not open to receiving Krishna's mercy, then in essence we can be limiting how Krishna's mercy will be coming to us, or not accepting it. My prayer is to somehow be able to accept and acknowledge Krishna's mercy, however, wherever, and whenever it may appear. It's a tough one, because otherwise we will tend to just look and say, oh, it must be in this group, Guru must have this look, he must be Indian, or he must not be Indian, or he must have a white beard or no beard, or must be wearing saffron, or must only be wearing white or Rasta colors, or whatever. We put all sorts of material expectations onto that personality, including what family lineage, what caste they come from, how tall they must be, the complexion of their skin, whether they're light or dark, the color of their eyes, and all of these things. It's all a material, external thing. One should just be seriously inclined toward Krishna Bhakti, and Krishna will make all arrangements, as he says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. I give the understanding by which they will come to me through that process. So if anyone is sincere, then whether it is in this group or that group or another group or anyhow, if one has developed this genuine greed, then Krishna will direct them to the necessary, appropriate sadhu sangha to be able to increase their desire and their progress on the path of bhakti. That is Bhagavat Guru, Bhagavat Shiksha Guru Parampara. And there's a beautiful lecture about that. Oh, thank you for teaching that, for sharing that. In the 5 essential essays of our Srila Gurudev, beautiful lecture about that, about the Bhagavat Shiksha Guru Parampara. I hope I've spoken about that sufficiently. So now, let me continue with the glories of the 6 Goswamis. This includes Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami. They fully abandoned at once the association of kingly aristocracy. All of them were brilliant, amazing personalities, so highly qualified. Even Rupa and Sanatan, they were working for the highest kingly aristocracy in the land, in the highest positions. It was Rup, Sanatan, and Anupam. One was the prime minister of the Muslim Nawab was Sanatana Gosvāmī. The private secretary was Rupa Goswami. They even had been given Muslim name titles. Sakar Malik, Dabir Khash. I can't remember the position of Anupam, but anyhow, they had these very high positions. But due to attraction to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, immediately they made all arrangements to cut that, sever that, and run. They had no need to maintain that. They had a higher taste in something millions of times more amazing and beautiful, the combined form of Radha and Krishna. They deemed it insignificant, and out of compassion they humbly wore only loincloths and ragged quilts. Thereafter they repeatedly immersed themselves in the delightful, billowing waves in the nectarian ocean of rasa. The bhavs felt by the gopis. Gopi bhava rasamritabdhi lahari kalola magno muhur. Interestingly enough, when you read all of these, you see all of this fully present within our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Bande Rupa Sanatano Ragujago Shri Jiva Gopalako. I worship Shri Rup Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Jiva and Gopal Bhatta Goswamis. Kujat Kokila Hangsasar Sagana Kirne Mayura Kule, crowded with sweetly cooing cuckoos, swans and cranes, as well as groups of peacocks. Vrindavan is shining beautifully with trees that have many varieties of gems inlaid beneath their roots. If we look, we may not see that, but those with transcendental eyes will see all of that transcendental Vrindavan. There, day and night, the Goswamis intensely worship Sri Sri Radha Krishna, thus endowing all jivas with the ultimate benefit of life. I worship Sri Rup Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Jiva and Gopal Bhatta Goswamis. Sankya Purvakanama Gananativi Kalavasani Krito. They would pass their time by daily chanting a fixed number of holy names, singing particular songs and offering regulated obeisance to saints, deities, and the Lord's pastime places. Thus they fully conquered the urges of eating, sleeping, recreation, and so forth. Means they weren't playing cricket or football. Always considering themselves to be unlimitedly lowly and insignificant, they became enchanted in sweet rapture by remembering Sri Sri Radha Krishna's qualities. I worship Sri Rup Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Jiva and Gopal Bhatta Goswamis. This part is important. They would pass their time by daily chanting a fixed number of holy names, singing particular songs, and offering regulated obeisances. In other words, they kept themselves fully occupied in everything related to Krishna. Chanting a lot. Always remembering the sweet pastimes of Krishna, singing so many bhajans, and offering so many dandavat pranams every day, everywhere, to all divine personalities and Vaishnavas. And Rupa Goswami also advises this, kalam nayad, without cessation, 24 hours a day. This is what they did. Our Gurudev also, I've told many times, even during massage, most of us would be enjoying the massage. Oh yeah, that's really nice. But he would be absorbed completely elsewhere, singing Bande Rupa Sanatano Ragujago Shri Jiva Gopalako. And then from there going on to Chaitanya-ashtakam, to Nityananda-ashtakam, Lalita-ashtakam, Vrindavan-ashtakam, Govardhan-ashtakam, Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraja, one ashtakam after the next, during the entire duration of the massage. He was absorbed constantly. He never let any moment slide where he wasn't absorbed. I don't think he was capable of it, because he has true taste. Radha kundatate kalindatanayati rechamangshivate. Wandering along the banks of Radha Kund or the Yamuna, and sometimes at Bangshivat, they would forever be seized by limitless, transcendental states, intoxicated by the utter madness of prem. Overwhelmed with bhav, they would jubilantly sing about the exalted qualities of Sri Hari. I worship Sri Rup Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Jiva and Gopal Bhatta Goswamis. The other day, Srila Gurudev was saying how they are constantly having spurtis, means transcendental visions of the pastimes of Krishna, wherever they look, wherever they go. So they're going from tree to tree, place to place, to witness these pastimes, taking shelter of those trees even. Please reveal within my heart which pastimes you have seen. They have no time to worry about homes and all of these kind of things. They're searching for Krishna everywhere. Our Srila Prabhupada said, our Goswamis have never said, I have seen, I have seen. Rather, they're always weeping, crying, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? He Radhe Vrajadevike Chalalite, He Nandasuno Kuta, Shri Govardhana Kalpapada Patale Kalindi Banye Kutaha. O Radha, Queen of Vrindavan, O Lalita, O son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you? Are you beneath the Kalpavriksha trees of Shri Govardhan Hill? Or are you in the forests on the banks of the Kalindi, Yamuna River? Thus calling out, greatly overwhelmed in separation, they would wander throughout the length and breadth of Braj Mandal. I worship Śrī Sanātana Raghunath Bhatta Raghunath Das Jiva and Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī. Śrī Sat Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Janardhan Prabhu, if one is truly sincere, then Krishna will direct them accordingly. Srila Gaura Govinda Mahārāja explains that if one is not sincere and they are trying to cheat, then instead of receiving a teacher, they may receive a cheater. This is how they're approaching the Lord. They're saying, I want to love you and serve you, but rather inside they have all kinds of other festering desires. Then Krishna might send you a cheater instead of a teacher. And then you will have to learn the hard way. So it may be, but Gurudev is warning us, be careful. Be careful. And so I'm not saying one should follow their own mind. If one is really sincere and truly greedy for pure Krishna Bhakti Rasa, then Krishna will guide them accordingly. Everything that is there by our Goswamis should be a map. They have already walked that path, Mahajano Yena Katha Sapanta, and carried so many along that path, so it is a well-worn path. If we follow that path like a science, we will quickly attain to our ultimate destination. If we try to make our own path, create, concoct, we think, the path is there, but I want to be unique and individual, let me do my own thing. Well, this is the path of ego. Then we can very easily end up falling into a ditch, falling off a cliff, or in any other dangerous situation. So, yes, we should be very careful and always. You should hear that lecture from Srila Gaura Govinda Mahārāja. It was quite telling. But this means we need to tap into our deepest part of our heart and search for that sincerity and call out from a place of sincerity. Really pray with tears and energy focused. Thank you, Janardhan, for clarifying these points. There's so much to clarify. But in general, the Guru Tattva works like that. And of course, there are also so many instructions in Shastra about what is not favorable. What's not favorable? Well, it would be difficult to accept someone as a guru who's eating their own vomit. That's called Vantasi. That means someone who has rejected the material world and then it goes back to eat that material world again. That's what Shastra says. So, if someone has chosen to accept as their guru such a personality, then this is symptomatic of their depth of sincerity, naturally. If one is truly sincere, then they will always be seeking the association of those persons who can truly help them to attain to Krishna Bhakti Rasa. Truly. Who has it, they can give it. This is a symptom of sincerity and true, genuine greed. So now, we will sing Jai Anilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur. Because today is also the disappearance day festival of Śrī Ramchandra Kaviraj. Page 99 in our songbook. When I spoke about that Bantasi and vomit thing, that's nothing that I've made up. That's what Shastra says. So just so you know, I'm not being gross. I'm just repeating the words of Shastra. In one case, in one sense, all of us are like that, because at certain points we have felt complete dedication in giving our hearts, and then we've gone back to being weak again. And so From that perspective, we should be like, oh my God, what have I done? And we should be, from that position, feeling deeply humbled. Look at where I am. And from that situation, I need help. And then we can be honest with ourselves and pray from a realistic, humble position. Even the greatest personalities are feeling that I'm lower than a worm in stool. So then what's lower than a worm in stool would be the worm, the stool of the worms in stool. I'm lower than that. Most contemptible. And from that position, crying out and praying that I sincerely need help. I am so weak. I have no desire for this, but I know that I should have desire for it. So at least please help awaken desire to have desire for what my Gurudev says I should be aspiring for, because I'm just only attracted to the material world. I desperately need help. From beyond myself. I just wanted to share one thing, what Srila Gurudev said about the qualifications for real Guru, and this is in the lecture he was delivering about Śrīla Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Where did that go? It really impacted me today. When I read it, I was about ready to share it, and then class began. But because we were talking on this subject, this is what our Srila Gurudev has to say about the qualifications for the real Guru, or that kind of person that we should take shelter of. And he's not saying that from this or that. If we want Rupanuga Bhakti, then we must be exclusive in our approach. Even anyone coming from Gauriket, the Kunja of Chandravali, Raghunath Das Goswami, chase them away. Why? Because he's exclusive to Srimati Radhika. So exclusivity and discrimination needs to be there. That's part of bhakti. To not utilize discrimination or have exclusivity would mean that one is really not sincere about real, pure Raganuga, Ragatmika, Rupanuga Bhakti. So, Gurudev is saying, if anyone knows Krishna Tattva, the science of Krishna, he is Guru. And that doesn't mean theoretical. Because then he explains, those who know who is Krishna, who is Srimati Radhika, who they themselves are, what is the service of Radha and Krishna, and who is loving them, performing prem seva, not only worship, prem seva, service with divine love and affection. They are Gurudev. Those who are doing not less than 1 lakh of Harinam daily, 64 rounds, and who have controlled Krishna in their hearts. Only love can control Krishna. Who have controlled Krishna in their hearts, they are Guru. Those who can take Krishna and place him in the disciples' hearts, they are Guru. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. I remember there's a lecture or maybe a book of Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj. Guru makes Krishna appear in your heart. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. So you can imagine the glorious symptoms of a bona fide Guru. If any person has a Guru like this, he is so lucky. So I just wanted to share that with you because I thought that was beautiful. Close that. So now we will call out in the words of Shri Narottam Das Thakur. Because it is the disappearance festival of Sri Ramchandra Kaviraj. So on the disappearance days, Ramchandra Kaviraj was one of Narottam Das Thakur's most near and dear associates. He is the brother of Govinda Das Kaviraj of Bhajahure Mana Sri Nandanandana fame. So Govinda Das Kaviraj's brother, Ramchandra Kaviraj, as I told, was very near and dear to Narottam Das Thakur, and in deep separation from Ramchandra Kaviraj, Narottam Das Thakur has also written this bhajan and the other one, what is it? Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Das. I think that's Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koromore. So we'll sing Jayanila Prema Dhana first. Jayanilo Prema Dhana Karuna Prachu Jayanilo Prema Dhana Karuna Prachu Eno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharyo Thakur Eno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharyo Thakur Tahamuro Saruprupa Taha Sanatana Tahamuro Saruprupa Taha Sanatana Kahadaso Raghunatho Patita Pavo Kahadaso Raghunatho Patita Pavo Tahamuro Kaha Kabira Tahamuro Bhatajuga Kaha Kabira Eka Kale Kotha Gela Gorano Toraj Eka Kale Kotha Gela Gorano Toraj Ashane Kuti Mata Onole Poshibo Ashane Kuti Mata Onole Poshibo Gauranga Gunero Vidhi Kotha Gele Pavo Gauranga Gunero Vidhi Kotha Gele Pavo Se Sava Sangiro Sange Je Koi Lovilas Se Sava Sangiro Sange Je Koi Lovilas Se Sangana Paya Kante Narottamadas Se Sangana Paya Kante Narottamadas Je Anilo Prema Dhana Karuna Prabhu প্রচুর যে আনিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা রামচন্দ্র ঠাকুর হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা রামচন্দ্র ঠাকুর প্রভু হে প্রভু হে প্রভু হে প্রভু হে প্রভু হে প্রভু হে प्रभु हे श्री रामचंद्र कविराज की जय। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया कर मोरे 96 दया करो So this one will be calling out for the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all of our Goswamis, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami included, and Ramachandra. Both of their names are present within here. So it's the perfect bhajan for today and every day. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे तोमा बिना ते दयालु जगत संसारे तोमा बिना ते दयालु जगत संसारे patita pavano hetu tavayavotaro patita pavano hetu tavayavotaro dosammapo Prabhu napaibe yaro no sammapa tita Prabhu napaibe yaro ha ha Prabhu nityananda premananda sukhi ha ha Prabhu nityananda premananda sukhi kripavano panakaro yami varo dukhi kripavano panakaro yami varo dukhi doya koro sitapati advaita gosvāmī doya koro sitapati advaita gosvāmī tava kripa bole pai chaitanya nityananda tava kripa bole pai chaitanya nityananda aha swarup sanatana rupa raghunatha ha swarup sanatana rupa raghunatha bhatta juga shri jivaha prabhu lokonatha bhatta juga shri jivaha prabhu lokonatha doya koro Śrīyācārya Prabhu Śrīnivāso doya koro Śrīyācārya Prabhu Śrīnivāso Ramachandra Sangamage Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Daso doya koro Prabhu Pada Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam doya koro Prabhu Pada Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Vaishnavero kripa mage adhamo daso Vaishnavero kripa mage adhamo daso doya koro guru devo patita pavano patito jano Shri charane seva mage he patito jano Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kuru Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kuru Toma Bina Te Doyalu Jagata Samsari Toma Bina Te Doyalu Nitai he, Gaur he, Nitai he, Gaur he, Nitai he, Gaur he, Nitai he, Gaur he, Jaya Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango Jai. Nitai Gaurango Jai Nitai Gaurango Nitai Gaurango Jai Nitai Gaurango Nitai Gaurango Nitai Gaurango Nitai Gaurango Jai Nitai Gaurango Nitai Gaurango Jai Nitai Gaurango Nitai Gaurango Shri Satyavrata Gaur Hari ki jai, Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Ramachandra Kaviraj ki jai. Oh. Sudevi, we have a friend named Paul Hamby. I don't know who he's talking about, maybe some snowmen. Okay. Oh, it's getting late. So we will sing for Shri Radha and Krishna together as well. And since today we are observing the days of Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Ramchandra Kaviraj, we will not be doing Damodarasṭakam today. So together we will sing Shyam Shyama Shyam Brajajana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. What's that rag, Sudevi? Wow, she knows the rag. What page is that? Somewhere 366. Braja Janamana Sukhakari. If you do not have the songbook, you have Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Just scroll to his post and you will find the bhajan there. By Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Śrī Radhe Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyama. Half a note higher. Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyama 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 Mora Mukut Makarakrita Kundala Galavai Janti Mora Mukut Makarakrita Kundala Galavai Janti Charanan Purasalo Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Charanan Purasalo Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyama Radhe Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyama 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 Sundaravadana Kamala Dallalochana Baki Chitta Manohari Sundaravadana Kamala Dallalochana Baki Chitta Manohari Mohana Mangshi Vihari Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Mohana Mangshi Vihari Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyama Radhe Braja Janamana Sukhakari Radhe Shyama 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 चरावे गोपी जन मनहारी श्री गोवर्धन धारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे श्री गोवर्धन धारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे 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 व्रज जन मनो सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे व्रज जन मनो सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 राधा कृष्ण मिली अब दो गौर रूप अवतारी राधा कृष्ण मिली अब दो गौर रूप अवतारी कीर्तन धर्म प्रचारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे कीर्तन धर्म प्रचारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे 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 व्रज जन मनो सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे व्रज जन मनो सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 तुम बिना मेरे और न कोई नाम रूप अवतारी तुम बिना मेरे और न कोई नाम रूप अवतारी चरणन में बलिहारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे चरणन में बलिहारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे नारायण बलिहारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे नारायण बलिहारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे 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 व्रज जन मनो सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे व्रज जन मनो सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 ओ राधे श्याम 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 राधे व्रज जन मनो सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे व्रज जन मनो सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 ओ राधे श्याम 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 Radhe Shyam, 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 Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. And because today is the appearance day of Śrīla Gosvāmī, we cannot forget Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol, Pyaro Radha Ramana Hari Bol, Sudevi Kartik. Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Pyaro Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Jai 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 Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Pyaro Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. 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 Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Jai Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guruvarga ki jai, Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai, Shri Ramachandra Kaviraj ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. The big one?
Yeah. I thought I could put it behind you.
I don't know where it went. Hare Krishna. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadadaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Shri Radharmana Ki Jai Nārāyaṇa Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giring Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishna Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishna Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada. And to all of our Rupanuga, Gaudiya Guru Varga, especially on this day, the appearance of Śrīla Gopal Bhatta Goswami, I am offering my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of his lotus feet, and the disappearance day of Śrī Ramachandra Kaviraj. I am also offering my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of his lotus feet. And also, I am offering my Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today. My Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe 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 Sham.
Radha Raman.
Radha Raman.
Different kind of book today, but essential book. Oh, today is also the birthday of a very dear person to us, Krishna Kripa, the one who traveled with us for years, playing mridanga. He's now with his Gurudev in Brazil, his Pujapad Bhaktivedānta Van Mahārāja. I don't know. We adopted him when he was 17. Before he turned 18, he wasn't legally allowed to travel away from his family. And so we had to...
In Brazil?
In
Brazil?
No, in Australia. So we had to, how do you say, take legal guardianship.
In Brazil.
Oh yeah, his family in Brazil. We had to take legal guardianship of him for a couple of months until he turned 18. But he's a very, very nice devotee. Very sweet and very beautiful sevak. Everything I wished I would have been at his age. So, today is the appearance anniversary of Śrī Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who is famous for so many reasons, but we will start from the beginning. Śrī Gopal Bhatta Goswami was known as Gopal. Bhatta is their family name. So his father's name is Vyankat Bhatta, and then his uncles were Trimala Bhatta, and I don't know the other one because he was already a sannyasi, Prabodhananda Saraswati. And they lived in Srirangam. They were actually the high priests of Srirangam and the top of the Ramanuja Sampradaya, the most amazing scholars of that Sampradaya. And they were worshipping Sri Ranganath in Srirangam in South India. Very, very powerful, devoted, strong practitioners of bhakti and very prominent brahmanas, but perfect brahmanas by all meanings of the word brahmana given in scripture. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on his travels throughout India, he went to South India, and there he went to the temple of Ranganath in Srirangam. At that time, those personalities who were considered the most respected, they invited him and gave him a place to stay, a room in their home for the 4 months of Chaturmasya. It is said that during the months of Chaturmasya, because it is also the rainy season, that at that time so many would stop traveling, especially the wandering mendicants. Sannyasis are always supposed to travel. Always. They're not supposed to remain in any one place for too long. So, because of this, because of having to stop during the 4 months of Chaturmasya, because it's very difficult to move and get across the overflowing rivers and everywhere, then so much austerity was also imposed, self-imposed, and also from the Shastras, so that one would not become too attached to the relaxation, the environment, to the people they're staying with, to the relaxed life and the enjoyment of being in one location. It can be very binding, as many of you might understand. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu resided there in the home of Gopal Bhatta Goswami's family. And at that time, residing there for those 4 months, young Gopal, he was quite young at the time, maybe 10 years old, received the opportunity to serve Mahaprabhu in so many ways. He would accompany him to the river, Kaveri River, to take bath, and he would carry his clothes and his whatever his necessities were. He would take care, he would wash them afterward, he would wash his clothes, he would massage him, he would serve him, he would assist in the cooking and everything. He was serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all ways. And Mahaprabhu gave him so much mercy and so much blessings. Mind you, his family were no ordinary personalities. They were the most learned, most knowledgeable personalities. And young Gopal learned from them all Shastras, all scriptures, especially Prabodhananda Saraswati, of great fame. He is that personality who wrote Radha Rasashuddhanidhi, Vrindavan Mahimamrita, Chaitanya Chandramrita, some of the most rasik and bhavuk literatures. And he came to reside in Vrindavan eventually. So by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's association, these personalities, who were very staunch followers in the Śrī Sampradaya, having heard of the glories of Braja Bhav and Braja Prem, became convinced by the arguments, you can call them arguments, but the teachings of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that the highest or original form of Lakshmi is Sarva Lakshmi Mayi, Śrī Radha Thakurani. By what verse ultimately did Mahaprabhu convince them? The verse in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, where the Nagapatnis, the wives of Kaliya, are praying to Krishna after he has completely defeated their husband, Kaliya, the serpent, by, I say dance, but it was more like stomping, but looked like a dance. Stomping on the hoods of Kaliya until vomit and blood and everything, fire, everything was coming from his mouth, and he became completely weak and about ready to give up his life. And at that time, he became like a soul surrendered to Krishna, and therefore his wives, Kaliya's wives, began to petition on his behalf. Now he is completely surrendered unto you. You don't need to punish him anymore. So Krishna didn't kill Kaliya. But they were praying in that verse, Katsyānubhāvo. How is it that our husband, Kaliya Nag, was able to receive the mercy of your footprints directly on his heads, when even Lakshmi Devi cannot attain such great fortune? To this day, she is doing austerities in Belvan to be able to enter Rasalila. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked them finally this question, after so much debate back and forth. Why in Śrīmad Bhagavatam is it said that even Lakshmi Devi cannot attain this, and that she's still praying and doing austerity for this? By that they were defeated. And they accepted the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Srimati Radhika is Purna Shakti, the original Adi Shakti, complete original Shakti or potency of the Lord, from whom all other Lakshmis manifest. Our Srila Gurudev explained that this is proof that if someone's relationship is already established, then they cannot move from that place. But if someone has not really established their relationship with their final Ishtadev, then they can shift from there. So Murari Gupta, he could not shift. He could never give up Ram because Mahaprabhu told him, very good, because you are Hanuman. Anupam, the younger brother of Rup and Sanatan, also could not give up Ram. And Mahaprabhu was so pleased because he also acknowledged, you are an eternal servant of Śrī Ram. Of course you cannot give up Ram. But with these personalities, Vyankat Bhatta, Trimala Bhatta, and Prabodhananda Saraswati, along with young Gopal, they were able to shift, which means that their Ishtadev at the time was not their final Ishtadev. They needed to progress from there. So they were able to accept the final teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and became first-class devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Radha and Krishna. Very rasik, bhavuk Vaishnavas. And eventually Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad came here and established his bhajan kutir. Where? Just at Kaliya Hrad. At the place where Krishna defeated Kaliya, where those Nagapatnis were offering that prayer, glorifying Srimati Radhika as the topmost. Who is Prabodhananda Saraswati in Krishna Lila? First person to answer this question will get Manohar Ladus. I don't even know what they are, but I know they're really good and I think I want them. Manohar Prabhu can make them. Yeah, really good. So they were convinced and they accepted what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teaching, these highest teachings, the highest conception. Advai Gyan Tattva Braje Brajendra Nandan, the supreme absolute truth, the highest conception of Krishna, can only be known in terms of rasa. If you look in terms of tattva, Diparchareva hirasantaram abhyupeta dipayate vivrita hetu samana dharma yastadageva hicha vishnutaya vibhati govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. As one candle lights the next, lights the next, lights the next, all candles are the same, essentially. This is Vishnu Tattva. Fire is fire is fire is fire. There's still a speciality of the original one, Ishvara Parama Krishna, original prime cause of all causes, Krishna. How can you understand and know Krishna? In terms of relationship, then you must bring in Rasa Tattva. So which aspect of Krishna would be considered the supreme or the highest or topmost? Well, where even Lakshmi Devi is praying to attain that, where all others are looking toward that, where Brahma is praying, where Mahadev is praying, Kada Karishyasi Hamang Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam, where Uddhava is praying, Ashamaho Charanarenu Jishamahangsham, may one particle of that dust of the feet of that particular gopi come on my head. I will take birth as grass or any shrub so that that one particle of dust may come on my head. Anantakoti Vishnuloka Namra Padmajachite Himadrija Pulomaja Virinchaja Varaprade Apara Siddhiridigda Satpadangulinake Kadakarishyasi Hamang Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam. All are praying for even a particle of dust from her lotus feet. Mahaprabhu was able to convince them by all the Shastras, and they accepted, and they became some of the most prominent, powerful adherents and proponents of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings in this world. Mahaprabhu ordered young Gopal, before he left, you stay here with your family and serve your father. Why? Because his father was not just like his father. His father was teaching him about all the aspects of bhakti. And also his uncles. They were all like his gurus and shiksha gurus. So Mahaprabhu said, you stay here and you serve them until the end, and then you should go to Vrindavan with Rup and Sanatan. So Mahaprabhu gave that order to Gopal. This is very merciful, very kind. His life was basically mapped out for him. He didn't have to think about it or worry about it. He had the order of the Lord directly. You serve your gurus here. Why are they considered guru? Because they weren't giving him any material instruction. They were trying to give him the best instruction, how to become a pure devotee of the Lord. Our Srila Prabhupada would say that about his father, Gaur Mohan. He said, my father was a pure devotee of the Lord. And he would always pray to any sadhu, to everyone, one prayer. Please bless my son, that he will become a pure devotee of Radharani. Srila Prabhupada would tell this. This was his father's prayer to everyone that he would meet. Please bless my son, that he would become a pure devotee of Radharani. We got it. Okay. We've got Janardhan. Very good. Walter Vedanta Sutra Smith. Tunga Vidya Sakhi. Very good. Very good. We talked about Manohar Ladus the other day. You'll have to research that. So, Gopal Bhatta Goswami was given this instruction by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I was telling you about his father and his uncles. Those who cannot deliver their dependents from the path which leads to death, they're not qualified or fit to be in those positions. What is a real father, a real mother, a real guru, a real friend? A real deva. They encourage one to give their everything in the service of Guru Gauranga, Radha and Krishna. So they were his gurus. Therefore Mahaprabhu ordered Gopal, you stay with them and you serve them. They are your gurus. And then you should go to your brothers, he said. Gurudev said. Rupa and Sanatan. They were also like his gurus. So Gopal learned, his family name is Bhatta, but that's a very high-class Brahmin name also. So they had all Shastras, and he learned everything from Prabodhananda Saraswati, from Venkat Bhatta, Trimala Bhatta, all of the scriptures and all the different kinds of teachings that can be found. Already they were well versed in all of the Ramanuja Sampradaya scriptures. They were well versed in the Vedas, in all of the Upanishads, Itihasas, and everything else, Puranas. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was blessed to be able to receive and understand and retain and represent all Shastric knowledge. So he himself was a veritable reservoir of transcendental knowledge. Not only knowledge, but experienced knowledge. Gopal Bhatta Goswami is also Rupanuga. Therefore, he is also, according to the definition of the purest or most refined definition of Rupanuga, he is following under her guidance and serving Radha and Krishna like her. Meaning that in Krishna Lila, Gopal Bhatta Goswami is also serving as a maidservant of Srimati Radhika, Guna Manjari Karakanjana Pavana. So, this is Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So after being with his gurus in Sridangam for some time, then he came to Vrindavan. It is said that on his way to Vrindavan, because at that time they didn't have normal modern conveyances, he also went to the Himalayas. So he bypassed and went a little further. And there, when he was bathing in the river, very special river, something happened. What's the name of that river? Gandaki?
Yeah, I don't remember.
So while he was bathing in that river, special river, there are so many Shalagram Shilas in the river. That's where they come from. And Srila Gurudev said that as he was putting his lota in the water, one kept going inside his lota and he kept putting it down and it kept coming. It was like it was following him, as if to say, I want to be with you. I want to receive your seva. There are certain kinds of, I'm going to use this word, vastus, substances, which are according to Shastra, non-different from Krishna. That would be Giriraj, Shalagram. They don't need to be installed. Like if you make a neem or wooden deity or any deity out of Ashtadhatu, different metals or anything, then there's a process of installation. Sri Guru is calling Krishna, you come and you be in this form and receive the service of your devotee. But for Giriraj and Shalagram, no installation is necessary. They are there, they are present. So, as if to say, please take me with you and do seva to me. I want your seva. This Shalagram would not leave him alone. So then he kept that Shalagram. And gradually he made his way to Vrindavan, to be in the association of Rup Sanatan and the other Vaishnavas of Vrindavan, as Mahaprabhu had ordered. Upon arriving in Vrindavan, he saw the Thakurji of Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī, Govindaji, so beautiful and dressed so luxuriously in so many wonderful clothes. And he saw the Thakurji of Sanatana Gosvāmī, Madan Mohan, so beautiful and dressed in so many beautiful outfits. And he had his Śrīla. And it is said that someone had donated some nice cloth and jewelry and everything. And he had a desire in his heart. Oh, I can't dress you so nicely. You don't have arms and legs and like that. So he was feeling something that he wanted to be able to do service to his Śrīla. But because there were no arms and legs, he was feeling, oh, I can't do the seva like that. And that night he went to sleep. It is said that he had many Śrīlas actually at the time, I think 12 or something. And he kept them in a bag on the tree, so hanging from the branch of a tree. And that night he had a dream. And in that dream, his Śrīla spoke to him and said, just see how beautiful I am. He woke up from that dream so excited and ran to that bag and looked inside. And one of those Śrīlas had manifested from itself beautiful, beautiful form of Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai. So he was so happy, so excited, so blissful that his Śrīla had spontaneously, it is called self-manifested, Swayambhu. By himself, he manifested this beautiful form of Krishna, standing in Tribhanga Lalit, very beautiful threefold bending form with all features. He has teeth and lips and fingers and everything. Very beautiful, very sweet. Gopal Bhatta Goswami was overjoyed that the Lord had appeared to him in such a way. Srila Gurudev explained that his feet were like those feet of Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan is that personality who attracts everyone, who even bewilders the mind of Cupid himself. He's so attractive that Cupid, not just one, Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham, Koti, millions of Cupids will just faint at the idea of the effulgence emanating from his lotus feet. How beautiful, how attractive is this Krishna. So, Sambandha Gyan, the initiation of our relationship with Krishna, is present within the feet of Radharaman. And his torso is like that of Govindaji. Be careful for that Govindaji. One glance and everything will be finished. Do not look upon the face of Govinda. Govinda vigraha dhari tatai achena hari. Sangsari grihir jego hoi sarvanash. If you look upon the face, or if you look upon Govinda, your entire material existence will be destroyed. Taimor mone borotras. This is my greatest fear. So, that is his torso. How beautiful must that be? What did Srila Gurudev say about this torso of Krishna? His shoulders are broad. When he's standing in this threefold bending form, Radharaman is quite broad also. His shoulders become very broad and his waist becomes very thin. He looks like a lion. how beautiful, how charming, how majestic and attractive. And he knows that's his best pose, so he takes that form and shows that beautiful form only to the gopis. That form, Vinod Bihari. So, and Radharaman, see? He's actually not a little boy. So let me come to the next part. His face is that of Gopinath. Shriman Rasarasarambi Vangshiva Tatastita Karshan Venusvanar Gopir Gopinath Ashriyestuna. That is the perfection. Prayojan means the end goal. If I missed saying Govindaji, this is Abhideya, service in practice. And then Gopinath is the attainment of perfection. He is there in Vangshivat. Vangshivata tatastitaha, situated at Vangshivat. Karshan Venusvanar Gopir, playing his flute and calling all gopis. This Gopinath. How beautiful, how charming. So Radharaman is said to have the face of Gopinath. It means all three Gaudiya Vaishnava Thakurs are present within his form. Not only that, his name is Radha Raman. For symbolic purposes, they put a Chandrika next to him. But our acharyas acknowledge that Srimati Radhika is also inside. So he is like, in himself, a complete Thakur. Everything is there. And so many see him like a little boy. That's okay. But he's standing in this form, not as a little boy. And his name is Radha Raman. Who is giving pleasure to Srimati Radhika, or who is receiving pleasure from her? This is not a little boy. This is Radha's Krishna and Krishna's Radha. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami, upon seeing this beautiful, beautiful form, became overjoyed and was showering tears of happiness upon the Lord revealing himself in such a beautiful form. It is said that Gopal Bhatta Goswami also showed Rupa Goswami and all of the others what had manifest, and all of them were overjoyed. And prem, they were feeling heightened levels of transcendental prem upon seeing this special form of Sri Radharaman. Radharaman is actually manifested, in essence, from the heart of Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Why? Because of his desire. He wanted to serve Krishna, and Krishna was trying to reciprocate with him and manifested this form. So from his heart manifested this beautiful form of Radharaman. When the Muslims were coming through Vrindavan, attacking again and again, destroying any pastime places, anything that was built up, temples, deities, or anything. They were creating a lot of havoc. Again and again they would attack. Eventually, all of the major deities of Vrindavan were moved out. Govindaji, Damodar, Gopinath, Shyam Sundar, they all were moved out. Madan Mohan, where did they go? There was a very powerful resistance to the Muslim rulership at the time, and that was from the Rajputs in Jaipur, Udaipur, Jodhpur. So they also had a very close relationship with Vrindavan and with the Goswamis. And all the architecture, even the way Gopinath Bhavan looks, is based on the Rajasthani architecture. So much, all of Vrindavan back in the day was done very beautifully with Rajasthani hand-carved stone architecture. Now they've kind of removed all of it and made it nice and flat and painted with all different colors. But before it looked very palatial. So Govindaji went to Jaipur, the original Govindaji. He's still there in the center of the city. He's just this city's beloved Thakurji. And Madan Mohan went to Karoli. Gopinath went to Jaipur. But Radharaman was small. Yay high. Maybe like 1 foot, 12 inches, something like this, 13 inches. So they were able to hide him. It is said that they hid him in a well. And they would lower him down, and then for bhog and offering and anything, they would bring him up and then again lower him down when it wasn't safe. It was a time of great danger. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Radharaman remained in Vrindavan to this day, and he's one of the most beloved Thakurjis of Vrindavan. Every night, so many people go there and they just sing their hearts out to him. So much affection is there for Radharaman. What's the time? 8:03. So, Srila Gurudev said that Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he was an ocean of transcendental knowledge, and he also made so many transcendental literatures. He wrote a book with all directives known as Hari Bhakti Vilas. That is the play, Vilas, of Hari Bhakti, of devotion to Hari. So in that, he gives all instructions of how to worship and serve properly, based on all teachings from all scriptures. He was a encyclopedia in himself, but he had collected all of the evidences from all different scriptures, and he placed them in Hari Bhakti Vilas. All of our Vaishnava etiquettes and everything are found in Hari Bhakti Vilas. So by the mercy of Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, they were both working on it together. Srila Gurudev explained that sometimes there's some discrepancy. Some are saying it was manifested by Sanātana Goswami, some are saying it was manifested by Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Gurudev said in actuality, it was manifest in both of their hearts by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there's Hari Bhakti Vilas, and then the commentary on Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sri Sanātana Goswami Pad. But they were working on it together to bring to Vaishnavism the rules and regulations and the etiquettes so that no one would have any confusion. Everything with Shastric backing, Shastric foundation. And this is necessary. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rai Ramananda in his conversation with him, I'm going to ask you so many questions, and I will not accept any answer that does not have Shastric verification. There must be Shastric backing. Even if the answer is good, you need to give evidence from Shastra, otherwise I won't accept it. And this is an example for us. These days, so many people say so many things and do so many things. Even people in positions of prominence, without any reference to Shastra. And maybe it seems nice and seems good and sounds right, but we're not the followers of mental speculation. We are the followers of Mahaprabhu, the followers of our Guru Varga, and they have established very, very strongly that Vaishnavas are Shastra Chakshushaha. They see through the eyes of Shastra. So our Srila Prabhupada famously said, a Vaishnava will never say, I think, I feel, I believe, maybe, if this, then that. No. If any question is ever asked to a Vaishnava, immediately they will quote from Shastra. That is Shastra Chakshushaha. These days we find that so many devotees love to try to toe the exception rather than the rule. Well, yeah, but look, there's an exception over there. Lord Shiva was doing that, so why not me? That kind of thing. Always searching for the exception to the rule. But we are not exception followers. We are followers of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga and our process. So the exceptions may be there. They may come from time to time. But to try to follow only the exceptions and hope that we will attain the destination is practically impossible. It's best to follow the path set out by the Mahajans, Mahajano Yena Gata Sapanta, the path that they have already directed for us. Then we can be assured of the destination, as our Srila Prabhupada would say again and again. Krishna consciousness is a scientific process. If you follow the process, you will attain the goal. If you don't follow it, if you only try to find any exception to the instruction of Guru and Gauranga, then chances are we can become hopelessly lost. So Sanātana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami have given to us Sri Hari Bhakti Vilas. Gurudev is saying Hari means Krishna, who steals the heart of Srimati Radhika and who is always dancing and singing in the hearts of Radhika and the gopis. He is Hari. I have pastimes going on in my mind. I just remember that place. What was it called? where Krishna was trying to get Srimati Radhika's mercy, and he was trying to break her man. And so he would go to the door and he would say, I am Chakri. She would say, who's there? Through the door. I am Chakri. Chakri means he who holds a chakra. But Chakri also means a potter who's always making pots on a wheel. Chakra is round, a wheel. She's like, we have enough pots. We don't need any more pots. Basically, go away. We don't need you. And then he would knock again. I am this. I am that. I am Hari. Hey, we don't want any thieves around here. You should leave immediately. So finally, when she opened the door, she said, what do you want? He said, I want the gift of your man. She had all of these offerings and bathed him in it. And he was so happy because her man was broken at that time. I can't remember the name of the place at this moment. I just remember that pastime, how Gurudev was telling it. It was so beautiful and sweet. Thank you, Anjali. That's very nicely put. We are not exception followers. Essential truth, spoken concisely, is true eloquence. Thank you, Janardhan, for your amazing posters that you're making. Okay, I just want to share a couple essential things. So Srila Gurudev is saying that our entire process, everything was given, all of the different samskars, all of the different impressions that one should receive to be able to progress on the path of bhakti. All of this was mapped out by Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas. And Gurudev was explaining that not only was he able to give all of this, but he was also Param Rasik, Premi, Bhavuk, Vaishnava. Right here. You can imagine what a first-class Vaishnava he was. He was not only a Vaishnava, but very near and dear to the divine couple, Sri Radha and Krishna. He is Guna Manjari in Krishna's pastimes. By his prayers, the Shalagram became Radharaman. He was not only a Bhavuk and Rasik Bhakta, but as I mentioned before, he was vastly learned. He had all of the Vedas and all of the scriptures of Ramanuja in his throat. This is because previous to his hearing from Mahaprabhu, he was a follower of Ramanuja Sampradaya. So this is all essential to understand what his qualities and his nature is. And we just heard during Sri Shad Goswami Ashtakam how Srinivas Acharya, his disciple, glorified Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who was the personification of all of those beautiful prayers which were offered by Srinivas Acharya. He possessed all of those same kinds of moods and natures. He is counted among the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Now there are thousands of persons with the name Goswami, but it's not the same as those personalities. Those personalities are defined beautifully by that prayer and also by Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama. So when we are referring to Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and of course our 7th Goswami, Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. But when we're referring to them, what kind of mercy are we praying for from them? Echaya Goshaya Kori Charana Bandhan Jaha Hoite Vignanash Abhishta Puran. By taking shelter of the lotus feet, all kinds of ignorance and anarthas will be destroyed. Echaya Goshai Jar Muitarodas Tasa Bara Padarenu Mora Panchagras. The dust of their lotus feet will be my 5 kinds of foodstuffs. Tadera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas. Janame Janame Hoy E Abhilash. To serve their lotus feet and to reside in the association of Vaishnavas, especially those kinds of Vaishnavas. This is my only prayer, birth after birth. Echai Goshai Jabe Braje Koilavash Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash. By the mercy of these 6 Goswamis, I will be able to reside in Sri Vrindavan. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bujabose Jugala Piriti is the same principle. Ichai Goshai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash. By their mercy and under their guidance, the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna will be manifest to us. How essential is it for us to take shelter of our 6 Goswamis, to follow their moods, their teachings, their conceptions. And how can we do that? Through the medium of those who are perfect followers of them. Our Rupanuga, Guru Varga. Gopal Bhatta Goswami is also Rupanuga. So today on the appearance day of Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, I heard something once from one devotee when we were standing in front of Radharaman. And it was very beautiful. She was telling another devotee what kind of mood to pray in. That my heart is like a stone. I have no love and affection for you. My heart is like a stone. But you can do amazing things with stone. As Narasimhadev, you manifested from a stone pillar. And as Radharaman, you manifested from that stone Shila. So please, make my heart like you. Manifest yourself in my stone-like heart. So I thought, wow, what a beautiful mood, what a beautiful prayer. So we can pray to Gopal Bhatta Goswami in the same way that we pray before we begin our programs every day. That may even a particle of your mood, even a particle of your moods of love and affection for the Lord, manifest itself within my heart. By the power of your love, Shalagaram Shila manifested directly as Sri Radharaman, the personification of all of our Gaudiya Thakurs, all in one, and with Srimati Radhika. May you bless me, not only with knowledge of Shastra, so that I can follow properly, I can follow this path clearly, but may you bless me also even with one particle of that mood, by which Krishna will also manifest in my heart. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai. Today is also the day of Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj, but we have no time to speak about him today. We have heard from Sri Narottam Das Thakur what a great personality he is. Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Das. I'm always seeking the association of this Ramachandra Kaviraj. So we can only imagine what a great personality he is, that Narottam Das Thakur, of all personalities, who received the prem left over by Mahaprabhu. I am depositing my prem in the Padma River for Narottam Das Thakur, is always aspiring to associate with this Ramachandra. He was also a disciple of Srinivas Acharya, so very intimate. Interesting that Gopal Bhatta Goswami's day and Ramachandra's day are on the same day. Gopal Bhatta Goswami is the guru of Srinivas Acharya, and Srinivas Acharya is the guru of Ramachandra Kaviraj. So there's some deep connection there. And this is the appearance of Gopal Bhatta Goswami and the disappearance day of Ramachandra Kaviraj. But you can just imagine Narottam Das Thakur is always begging for the association of this very near and dear bosom transcendental friend. For such a personality, if we can even receive one particle of his mercy, our life, our existence will be successful. So we will try to speak something more on him tomorrow. Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai, Shri Radha Ramanaju ki jai, Shri Ramchandra Kaviraj ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. It's Kitchen Mohan. I don't know. Very weird. Oh, maybe we've actually finished all of the normal internet and it's only on the extended one now. I don't know how to do that. My nickname at the time of serving Gurudev in the last months became Kitchen Mohan. And Sudevi became known as Soup Devi because she had to make like 10 soups a day. Every half an hour cooking a new soup, fresh. And I was there just cleaning and helping and assisting in every way. Sudevi was like the main chef at the time. So I became known as Kitchen Mohan, and she became known as Soup Devi. Jai Jai Radha Ramano Giridhari Giridhari Shyam Banvari Dero Radha Ramano Giridhari Giridhari Shyam Banvari O Mero Radha Giridhari Mero Radha Giridhari Mero Radha Giridhari Mero Radha Giridhari Giridhari Shyam Banvari Giridhari Shyam Banvari Mero Radha Ramano Giridhari Giridhari Shyam Banvari Radha Ramano Giridhari Giridhari Shyam Banvari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudeva and Guru Varga, and also to remember something about the glories and the life and teachings of Śrīla Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Śrī Ramachandra Kaviraj. Also, we are eternally grateful to you. We are indebted to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Gurudev, to serve him by following his order, so we cannot repay you for that. We look forward to being with you all tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai. Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai.
There's a tiny baby in Gopal's blanket.
Ci vediamo domani.
Radhe Radhe.